This is horrible. This is what it's like in London most of the time. Pissing with rain. I don't mind it so much in daylight, but nighttime rain is just a horrible riding condition. Your visibility is hugely impaired, and that's just the start of your worries, because then you've got to think about the road surface itself, and then you've got to think about you getting wet, which does happen, even though I'm wearing full-on waterproofs. In rain like this, they're never 100% waterproof, unless you get one of those plastic onesies, like a giant sheath, to protect you from all sorts of weather STD. What is the... What are you doing? Oh, this is shit. This is so shit. I'm wet already and I've got 50 miles to go. Ball bags. Basically what you can see through the lens here is what I can see. F all. What is this bloody nonce doing? Oh, I'm on edge. I'm on edge. I'm paranoid. Look how much steam's coming off the beast. My steaming beast. Drivers, you've got no idea how hard it is riding in conditions like this. No idea. Put aside the cold and wetness. That's nothing to do with it. It's a minor factor, but vision, slipperiness. Slipperiness, is that a word? It is now. It is tough. I'm just very glad I've got my favourite tyres on, which are the Michelin Pilot Road 3s. Not only are they amazing in the dry and have ridiculously long life, in the wet they are the best tyre you can get, road tyre, in my opinion. So while I'm here nattering away, I'm going to talk to you also about bike setup. Bike setup. Now what I mean by that is the suspension, the gear you want to buy, the upgrades, and all this stuff. Now believe me, I've been down the route of purchasing a whole load of for my bikes in the hope that I get some kind of massive performance boost out of them. Now yes, they help, but by no means is it like the be all and end all, and it costs a fortune. So here's my recommendations for the cheapest things you can do to your bike which will improve it the most for the money type thingy bobby booby. The first thing is suspension. Now I've just got this bike set up by a specialist called Steve Jordan Motorcycles. I can't recommend them highly enough. Very good. And for 60 quid you ride in, he sorts it out to your weight, the type of riding you want to do, and the difference is phenomenal. Absolutely ridiculously good. Before, this bike is really choppy and hard and stiff and horrible. And now it feels so much more plush and it gives me so much more confidence. So it's, before you go out and spend thousands of pounds on forks, Öhlins forks and TTX rear shocks, just spend 60 quid first and make sure it's set up right, because the difference is, for most riders, we're not talking races here, they obviously have their own, but for most road riders it's not worth it. It's just a bling factor. And of course if you can afford it, fine, do it. It's wicked, it's good fun if you can afford it. But if you can't, just spend 60 quid, get it set up right. Because I guarantee you, with sorted out suspension, you'll go much faster than putting power commanders and on your bike and getting it dynoed and all that cost to eke an extra 5 horsepower out of it. You'll go much faster if you can actually ride the bike properly. The second cheap performance gain I would recommend. If you want to... These bikes can do 180, 190 miles an hour. In reality, when are you ever going to do 180, 190 miles an hour? You're not. So the next cheapest thing you can do is change the gearing. Now what that'll do, if you put a larger rear sprocket on your bike, it takes away a bit of top end and gives you more acceleration. So for the price of a rear sprocket, 20 quid, you will outperform a power commander, an exhaust system, anything. You'll outperform it. Obviously, if you've got a rear sprocket and a power commander, all that it's not going to balance out. But for 20 quid, that'll give you a noticeable boost. You can also do the front sprocket if you so wish. It just amplifies the difference. But be warned on the front sprocket, some front sprockets, like my Fireblade for example, have cush drives in them, which is a little bit of rubber between, which helps soften it. You'll see the cush drive on the rear normally when you take it off and you get your tyres changed, these little black bits of rubber. That's there to soften the delivery, and I know when I put a front sprocket on my Fireblade, it made it a bit snatchy. And that's already a very, very powerful bike, which you don't want to be snatchy. It's like the only time you don't want to have snatch. Yeah, it can get a bit snatchy when you're twisting your fist. So far we've got suspension set up, 60 quid, sprocket, 20 quid. Oh, that bloke's going to pull out then. So we're at 80 quid. I haven't added this up or even worked it out before saying this, by the way, I'm just rambling. Weight. Weight is a key factor. If you don't plan on carrying pillion passengers, get rid of those foot pegs straight away. Anywhere you can think of saving weight, it's pretty logical. You just look at the bike. If you've got a catalytic converter in your exhaust, you can get a decat link pipe. They are quite expensive though. We're going to try and keep this as cheap as possible. So what else weight wise? Just generally your body. Don't be such a fat. So get some new tyres. And you can do this, you don't have to go out and just buy new tyres. If you've got tyre wear left, use them. But it's just when you go to upgrade, maybe spend a little bit more and get a high performance tyre. And the differences usually are about 40 quid between a road tyre and a decent high performance road tyre. So what we're at, 80, so 120 quid so far, because I'm taking into the fact that you need new tyres anyway, because they're a consumable product. And the cheapest of all, pump your tyres up to the correct tyre pressure. It makes a massive difference. Other silly little things, like make sure your chain is lubed properly. Make sure it's adjusted properly. Brakes. Again, stock pads are generally a blend of longevity and stopping power. So you can spend a little bit more, maybe a tenner more, when you come to upgrade your consumable brake pads and get some higher spec sintered pads. So there you have it. Top tips. Of course, if you've got the money, go and spend it. Boost the economy. Enjoy yourself. But if you haven't, all is not lost. And the final tip I'll give you is go and do a track day. A lot of people are scared and daunted by them, but you don't have to be. There's lots of circuits offer novice evening sessions. So you rock up, pay 20 quid, go around the track with an instructor, and it'll improve your riding no end. And the more you do that, the better you'll be as a rider, and that's probably the best modification you can ever do. It's just become a better rider. Oh. Oh, and I haven't said this for a while. Double bloody decker.